You too, people. Hang on, everybody. We are heading to Zero Town. That's right. Resupplies came and the prices tanked. Look at this big arrow. If I could put a big red arrow crashing down, dramatic thumbnail. We're going to zero. All the doom and gloom titles apply. So what's actually going on here? There has been a pretty significant restock on Surging Sparks ETBs, Twilight Masquerade ETBs, and Prismatic ETBs have really just been straight getting pumped to market left, right, and center for a while now. So I almost feel like that's a separate thing to discuss. But Surging and Twilight have gotten very large reprints on ETBs. And a lot of people have talked about this already. This is a change from what we are used to seeing from the old Pokemon Center. Normally, you wouldn't see massive reprints on ETBs. They would use booster bundles. They would sometimes use booster boxes. They would use ancillary products to get packs to market. This is the first time we've seen significant ETB reprints like this. And quite frankly, the market is not absorbing it, and it's causing the prices to come down dramatically. You could see this major drop off. This is Surging Sparks ETB. Boop, right on down. These things were trending at about $100. And then look at the amount of volume as everyone plays the Race to Zero game and has dropped these all the way down to $70 because everyone just wants to quick flip the product as fast as possible. They're all no diamond hands allowed. They're just moving off of it, making their 15, 10, 20, maybe $5 in ETB, whatever it is, after fees and shipping and everything, to make their quick buck and then move on to the next thing. Personally, this is just me talking. I have rules that I have set up for myself. And listen, if all you can afford is ETBs, do your thing. I personally avoid ETBs of inline sets or mainline sets as much as I possibly can. If I pick them up for a steal of a deal, I'll snag them. But unless it's a specialty set or Pokemon Center exclusives, I really don't like to mess with the ancillary products, ETBs, booster bundles, etc. Unless it's Pokemon Center exclusive. I prefer on main release sets, I am a booster box only sort of guy. That's what works for me. You might be different. These probably will rebound. It's probably going to take a decent chunk of time, depending on how much actually came to market. Now, just to show you how much Pokemon doesn't make sense sometimes, the ETB market crashed. And this is Surging Sparks coming to market. It did not affect booster box pricing at all. This is, just as a refresher, this is the 3-month graph for Surging ETBs. And you can just see how it nosedived over the last couple of days. And then here are booster boxes. No change. Market does not care. That may make sense to you. That may not make any sense to you. I could see it both ways. Packs are coming to market, but the SKUs are treated differently. Booster boxes on a mainline set are the gold standard. It's the one everyone wants. Now, if the set gets crazy enough, listen, if I would have sat here and like avoid Evolving Skies ETBs back in the day, you're sitting on a gold mine today if you have a ton of them. I just would personally rather put that money into booster boxes. Now here, I don't know if it makes sense. Surging booster boxes are $240. ETB is currently going for $70. So you could get at minimum, let's call it 3 ETBs for 1 booster box. Once again, myself personally, I would rather have the 1 booster box. Maybe you're getting, at this point in time, that answer might be incorrect because of the decrease in price. You might be better off if you could go get a deal on maybe like an ETB case and snag up something like that. I don't like the ETBs from the storage factor. I do not have unlimited storage. I am constrained on secure storage. So I don't want to go super crazy with a bunch of stuff that takes up space. Let's look at Twilight. Same thing. This is the 3-month chart. This thing was creeping up, got almost up to $100, and then immediately reset right back down to 80. Booster boxes, what do we notice here? Right to the moon. Booster boxes on Twilight are now almost $300 a booster box and climbing, whereas the ETBs are now down to 80, and nobody cares on the booster box side of things. Not affecting anything at all. Just to kind of round out this conversation, let's look at Prismatic. Prismatic has been just getting pumped out left, right, and center. It's going to big box stores. It's going to the warehouse stores. Sam's Club has bundle. Everybody and their sister has a bundle for this thing. And there are ETBs hitting the market left, right, and center. And it does not matter. This thing will not drop below about $100. It'll sneak into the high 90s for a hot minute, but this thing has basically been $100 for weeks now. And it shows no real signs of slowing down. You can see the various different spikes here as different restocks happen, but it has settled into this $100 range for a while. I could get these at any local show that I want at $100. I see them all the time at $100 in ETB. I could probably even get a little bit of a better deal if I negotiated price down on multiples. So clearly this has impacted the market in ETBs. If ETBs are your thing, this is going to be a buying opportunity. The one thing that I'll say, if you're like, oh, well, let me run after the booster box at the inflated price, the booster boxes could still get reprinted. This, I think something people aren't thinking about is we're still early in the life cycle of a lot of this stuff, especially Surging Sparks. Hasn't even been out a year. You got a long way to go on this bad boy. They could still print the hell out of this thing and back again. So if you're cool, and this is where people get in trouble, because if you're not used to this sort of nonsense, you may have been buying these for the last few months, be like, oh, I love Surging Sparks. This ETB looks fantastic. This is going to have great collectability long term. And you're buying them at 100. Maybe you grab one every show you go to, or whatever the case might be. Every week you get paid and you grab an ETB on the side of Surging, and you've been stacking them up. And now all of a sudden the price tanks and people panic because they're thinking too short term. They see this. They see everyone's doom and gloom thumbnails, and they're like, oh my God, what have I done? This is a massive mistake. And you have to be ready. If you're going to invest in sealed product like this, when you look at your spreadsheet, whether it's in real time or you update it manually or whatever, I use Market Movers. It has a collection feature tool. It tracks all my stuff in real time. You have to be willing to stare at that red number. If you bought these things for the last 6 months at 100 in ETB because you thought the ETB looked great, the set is fantastic, this is going to have tremendous long-term upside, guess what? Just because they reprinted, all that stuff is still true. You're just thinking too short term. Because now it went into the red, and now is the real test comes. When you pull up that spreadsheet and you see that you're $20 in the hole on the 10 ETBs that you bought, that does not feel great. It doesn't. Been there, done it. Did it with a lot of the booster boxes that I bought early on, where I paid, like $110, $100 a box, and they dropped to $85, $90. And depending on how many you bought, it just sucks staring at red, even if it's only a couple bucks red. It just sucks that it's red. And people don't like seeing that red on the spreadsheet, and then they get panicky. You got to be willing to ride out the wave. If you were buying ETBs of Surging or Twilight, thinking they were going to take you to the moon and back again, that's still the case, but you need to realize getting into the game that for that to actually happen, you have to wait years. And I think people lose track of that, especially in these hot markets where this stuff goes crazy in very short periods of time. I love Surging Sparks. I have a decent chunk of it. That being said, this box price at $240 is not super safe. There is definitely risk here. This is going to be printed for a long period of time. They can easily print more boosters and pull the price down. General market could soften on Pokemon over the course of the next couple of years before this thing cycles out. And it could come down naturally, or it could be coming down naturally and they reprint it and you get the double whammy. But everything, all the reasons you believed in surging are still true today, and they'll still be true if this gets reprinted, even if they drop pallets of it. You're just thinking too short term. You have to think long term. You have to wait for the product to work through its life cycle and then move on to its next phase of its existence. And if you're wondering what happens then, go look at the Sword and Shield stuff. Surging Sparks is going to be one of the best sets probably of the block. It's going to be right up there. It might not be the best, but it's going to be top tier. Let's compare it to, let's call it the Chilling Reign of Scarlet and Violet. What are Chilling Reign boxes doing right now? Like 550, 5, 6, somewhere in there. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't have a crystal ball, but you see where I'm going. You have to wait. Chilling Reign came out how long ago? You have to be willing to ride these waves as they happen, especially while product is still in print. These are things that are going to happen. You have to have that mindset before you pull the trigger initially. And that's the danger of buying at these inflated prices now. We're kind of in uncharted territory with this. When I was stacking sealed Pokemon, that was not the case. I was buying for MSRP or under in most cases, usually drastically under, because no one wanted this stuff to the degree that they do now. You know, I could get a ETB case of Crown Zenith for $500 or whatever it was that I spent on one. And now that same case of a specialty set coming out would cost you 100 at ETB. I was buying them for 40 at ETB. I didn't really have any risk buying in at the prices that I were before the market went wonky. Now there is actually risk. You're gonna have to wait for the market to cycle itself out, to flush out that inventory, wait for things to go out of print, etc. So don't be freaked out by this. If you love surging, you still love surging. Nothing changed. You're just gonna have to ride through these waves. And if you were buying surging ETBs at 80, 90, 100 to quick flip them, that was probably your first mistake. Tuck them away. If you really like the set, go buy more. But know that this could happen again. That we could easily be sitting here 8 months from now. This is fully recovered back to maybe 110 at ETB, and a massive reprint comes and craters it back down to 70 or $80. And the cycle repeats itself. But if you're spinning ahead 3 years, 5 years, who knows what could happen? It could be $5. It could be that we're burning it for warmth, or it could be a $200 ETB. Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. If you do, please let me know what the price of all this stuff will be in 5 years, so I know if I should sell sooner rather than later. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.